yesterday we spoke about Chris Coons getting out in front of his skis in terms of like heading on Fox and Friends to talk about how Iran was a real problem. Somebody got to Chris Coons. Now, it's quite possible he's watching the Majority Report and took some of this criticism to heart. I find that unlikely, but it's not, it's totally inconceivable. But nevertheless, somebody got to Chris Coons because that beeping sound that you're hearing, that is Chris Coons backing up.
That you felt that if the intelligence suggested that Iran was behind it, that you thought that military action could be warranted. Do you still feel that way now?
Well, notice the two conditions in that statement. First, we in Congress need to be briefed on the intelligence. While it is important what's reported on the news, we need a detailed briefing on the intelligence.
Now, this guy goes on Fox and Friends yesterday at the slightest whiff, and then all of a sudden someone said to him, hey, dude, it's the Trump administration.
It wasn't even the Trump. It was Brian Kilmeade.
Well, I'm saying, no. But my point being that, like, he's going off of the story that he had heard. He was so desperate to carry this forward. And apparently someone said, you might want to take a second look at this.
We need a detailed briefing on the intelligence, and I've asked for that, and I'm hoping to get that. What you've just reported would certainly strengthen the evidence, if confirmed by intelligence to members of Congress, that this was a direct attack by Iran on Saudi Arabia. Second, we need to have a conversation as a country and as a Congress about whether or not this is an attack so directly relevant to America's interest as to justify military action. Diplomatic action is what's called for first, and our president should come to Congress and make that case if he is determined that this is what calls for military action. My concern here, Allison, is that Iran is an aggressive power, is a regionally destabilizing power that is clearly willing to use additional resources, if that's what this intelligence bears out, to carry out more direct attacks that are more destabilizing against its regional opponent, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Iran has projected force into Syria, into Lebanon, into Iraq, into Yemen. And this latest incident could well be the next step in the escalation of challenges. I appreciate that President Trump's most recent statement on this was that he is not seeking war with Iran.
Yeah.
And it's my hope that after an intelligence briefing, those of us here in the Senate who serve on foreign relations, intelligence, and armed services will have the opportunity for a meaningful debate about what is the best course of action going forward.
Well,
I mean, this is a pretty severe reversal by Chris Coons. I mean, he's backing off this big time. I imagine, I don't know. Maybe it's some notion of like, you really don't want to be on this side of a war that Donald Trump is going to wage right now.
I mean, he's still doing the Iran fear-mongering, and I looked him up.
But it's more generic.
It's much more generic. I mean,
than it was yesterday,
somebody must have told him something. Because, I haven't seen a reversal like that in other, I guess actually
nice
since Kamala Harris. I didn't hear that.
You love to see it.
Meanwhile,
you love to see it. You love to see the reversals.